We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Episode 2. Itchy knee. Episode knee. Today is more of a time traveling session today.
Yes.
We're going to take things back to the beginnings.
I feel like we just need to quickly acknowledge that Bella
there
is
a
here
dog
as well.
Here. Bella, just chill, please. You've literally been grooming yourself for the last 2 hours. You look good, all right? You look great. You don't have to groom yourself anymore. But yeah, we were going to take things back today to this is going to be more of like a travel episode. So I think the way this podcast is going to progress is it's going to kind of be flip around a little bit. Sometimes we might do travel episodes. Sometimes we might have a guest on and do like more deep introspective kind of episodes. But at the end of the day, we're going to do episodes that are just things that are meaningful to us. So the first holiday we ever went on was, surprise, surprise, to Japan. Did you actually know much about it or have any ideas about it?
Look, we did Japanese in school and I knew of Japan, but it was never really on my radar. I'd never been there. I didn't know much about it other than a very surface level amount, so no.
No, me either. I actually only really had it on my radar because I really wanted to go skiing, because growing up as a family, we used to go skiing every year, and I remember it being like really fun, really like great memories that I had from my childhood. So I was kind of looking around and everyone was saying Japan was a great place to go skiing, so that was the main reason why I wanted to go there. And everything else that came about it was just like a byproduct of that. But yeah, I think so we made our way over in January.
It was January 2023. Yeah, because COVID stopped us from going for so long.
We have been hitting that place up hard.
So, yeah, for timeline, Hugh's been 10 times. Yeah. I've been 9 times. That's from January 2023 to now. So I've been saying that's a course of 4 years, but that's actually only
about 3.
About 3.
Wow.
I could be wrong. We might fact check that, but I'm pretty sure it was 2023.
Yeah, maths isn't the strongest point at this time in the morning, but
and especially not for me at any given time.
We've been going a lot. Let's put it that way. But yeah, and it was also the first holiday we ever been on together as a couple.
Yeah.
And anyone who's ever been on a holiday before as a couple will know that it's definitely a true test of the strength of your relationship, because things can get quite hectic and quite stressful when you're traveling and trying to navigate. So if you can make things work on a holiday, chances are you can probably make things work back home as well. But I remember us being really excited. There was a little bit of nerves, I think. Obviously, going overseas to a completely new country and you're not really sure what it's going to be about. But I think mostly we were just pretty much excited going over there.
Yeah.
I remember when we got there, because you get there quite late, going from Brisbane to Narita, and little side story. So Narita is like their international airport. Haneda, if you can ever go to Haneda, go to Haneda.
Pay the money to go there.
That's like their really updated, modern one that's in like the middle of the city, beautiful airport.
A lot quicker to get into just Tokyo City once you land.
Narita's like hour and a half out of the city.
It's not really Tokyo, it's Shiba.
No,
it's like a different continent.
But budget as, like no one's a real big fan of it. No, it's kind of like not really the place you want to go. But hey, that's when we fly budget. We take the old Bogan missile, Jetstar. We love.
We actually like Jetstar.
I say that from a place of love. I do love it. It's my Bogan missile. It's as much of a Bogan missile it is. The missile always gets us to where we need to go.
Touch wood. We have actually had really good experiences with Jetstar International. Jetstar Domestic, I would say not so much, but Jetstar International, I feel like we've been very lucky.
And we do have a few Jetstar friends at World Gym Burley, so shout out to all you guys. You're doing a fantastic job.
Love your work.
But yeah, so getting to Japan, you're at the airport. First thing you got to navigate is the metro system, the trains. And as much as they are really accommodating of foreigners and all that kind of stuff, it is a little bit hectic at first trying to get on and everything, because it's like a lot of the trains, yes, you may have paid to get on the train, but then I don't know if this is a thing here, maybe it is in Sydney, but like you pay to get on the train, but then you have to pay an additional fee to reserve a seat on that train. So we had paid to get like into the subway system, but then you also have to reserve a ticket for an actual seat on that train to like secure your position. So that was like a little bit stressful at first because we were like, which train? We finally got on the train, and then we're sitting on the train, and then this voiceover message says, make sure you have a ticket for your reserved seat. Or
and we're looking at each other like, are we meant to do that? Like, we were getting a little bit stressed because we're hearing this message repeat, and we're like, oh, we haven't booked the reserved ticket. And then this train conductor man is coming along, and he's like checking everyone's tickets, and he gets up to us, and fortunately it ended up being such a like non-problem.
So this is the Japan difference. So I think a lot of other countries we've been to, and Australia as well, like if you don't have all of that stuff 100% sorted, they're like really come down on you. They might even write you a fine. Like I remember I went to Germany and like I'd paid for a ticket, but I actually got on the wrong train, and the person came up to me and was like berating me and gave me like a €200 fine and was like doing
gave you a telling off.
Yeah, doing all this kind of stuff. And I was like, man, I just made like a simple mistake. So I was a bit stressed. The Japanese man is just like, oh, he was like apologizing to us for disturbing our peaceful train ride. Like we hadn't even paid what we were meant to pay, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to." But he didn't fine us; he just charged us. Like we just paid him whatever we owed him.
He just made up the difference that we hadn't paid,
and then went our way. And he was like, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry that I disturbed you." And we were like,
wow. So is everything okay? Like, are we in trouble?
So
that was a nice.
That was our first taste
introduction.
Our first taste of like the respect and like just genuine like kindness and just being decent human beings that Japanese people are. Like
their customer service as well. I think you notice very early on in your travels there that their customer service and the attention to detail is second to none. And that's something that I think keeps bringing us back is like, you know, when you go to Japan, you're going to have an amazing experience when you go to any restaurant or a hotel, or anytime you're interacting with a Japanese person in a business transaction or some kind of service, you're going to get the most amazing experience. And they're just so beautiful. I love that it's we always talk about the word korowari.
So yeah, it's a good thing to remember if you're coming to Japan that like you can kind of take peace of mind in that they are very accommodating of your ignorance. So don't take advantage of that and be like, I'm just not going to care at all. I'm just going to rock up wherever they can clean up after me. But just have like peace of mind in knowing that like if you make a mistake or you don't know where to go or something like that, they are very happy to help you out and to accommodate for any mistakes you make or anything like that. They're a very accepting, a very accommodating people. So don't have a fear of asking a question or have a fear of like maybe I haven't bought the right ticket, like because honestly is as simple as it seems, things like that can completely ruin a trip. Like if you're getting stressed out about that and then you and your partner start fighting and suddenly you're both in a terrible mood and you're upset, and it can ruin your whole day. So just having that peace of mind of knowing that like we don't have to be so stressed about all these little minutiae and details. It can really make a big difference to your trip.
Definitely.
So but we first got there, I didn't really do much research beforehand, so I wasn't really aware of the different accommodation systems. I had just found this place that looked really nice. And I was like, wow, it's got all this massive bath and like a spa and all this kind of stuff. I was like, this is sick. So I'd booked it.
Little did we know.
Then when we got there, we were kind of walking through the district to get there. And I was like, it's very dark.
It was getting a bit like
neon
seedy.
lights, and it was in Shinjuku, which if you don't know much about Japan is kind of one of the more seedier, like it's very popular, but also like, I don't know, maybe kind of like surfer's paradise. Like all the partying happens there and it's a little bit kind of...
It's a very much nightlife district.
So we're going there and there's all these different hotels and stuff, and we finally rock up there and I don't know. There was just like a little bit of a weird vibe when we were there, and he was kind of like,
Mysterious.
He gave us the keys to the room, but he was like, make sure, like, if you ever leave, you have to give the keys back to me. So, but this is our first night in Japan, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's a Japanese thing, maybe that's just what you do at hotels in Japan. And then we got there, and we were kind of in the room, and we were looking around through some of the drawers, and there was a few interesting items in some of the drawers, some electronic vibrating devices.
So it turns out we were in a love hotel, which if you don't know what a love hotel is, you could use your imagination, but basically it's a place where, look, you can stay there as a hotel.
Yes, and you can book it by the hour if that gives you any indication.
Yeah, maybe we'll leave the rest up to your imagination.
What sometimes be used for, but we had booked it for a few nights, so obviously we were very enthusiastic lovers.
That's probably why he was a bit sussy, like, give me the key back.
What are these guys doing here? But it was an awesome room.
It was actually one of the I don't know if I would stay in a love hotel again, but I'm glad we did it once.
You're very aware of what the previous guests were probably up to, but
yeah, once you have that in your mind, it's hard to get that image out of your mind.
The room itself was really nice, like really nice. As I said, it had a really good bath and everything. But
that bath had like disco lights, and it was there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on. But yeah, so that was the first night. So we got off to a good start. Once we worked out the metro system, we found our hotel, and then the next day we got up early. It was, I don't know if you remember, but it was so cold.
It was cold.
We were there in winter, so January is winter in Japan because they're in obviously the northern hemisphere. And we got up, we went for a walk to sort of get a feel for our surroundings, and we were walking through Meiji Jingu, which is a beautiful, you would have seen photos of it, this beautiful park in the middle of sort of the Harajuku Shibuya area, would you say? Is that correct? And it is absolutely stunning. I would recommend going early in the morning because it gets extremely busy. To be honest, I would use that recommendation for anywhere in Japan. We've found
anywhere you want to see that's like sightseeing wise, go there early and there'll be no one there.
And when we say early, Japan, if you don't know,
early can be like 6 or 7 a.m.
Even slightly later because they don't really start their day till 10 o'clock.
Most stores open 11. So like if it's
some even open at 12.
So grocery stores open at 10. Clothing and those other stores 11, 12, some even 1 p.m. And they stay open till really late at night. So early can be like even if you just got up at 7 a.m. and went to a lot of these places, they'd be pretty much empty.
But yeah, we walked around Meiji Jingu, and I remember it was so cold we could see our breath. Like that was a good indication of how cold it was, and it was that I remember that feeling of like pure magic and excitement of when you're in a country or a city and you're experiencing it for the very first time. That feeling is almost like indescribable, and magic is probably the best way I could describe it.
It emanates those like those Spanian vibes. I don't know if anyone's ever watched Spanian or the travel videos
He's an Australian YouTuber.
But just like that's how you feel. Like if you've ever watched his videos, he'll be walking along and he'll be like, "Oh my god, look at that building! Oh my god, look at that lake! Oh my god, look at that bird!" But it's like, and you think, "Oh, he's so over the top." But that's kind of what it's like when you're in a new country. Like
it's a genuine
every
reaction.
Little thing you see is like, "Oh, that's so different. That's so different," and everything is so amazing and new and fresh. So it's definitely like that the first time we go somewhere, especially somewhere like Japan. Yeah, this was amazing for me to just walk around and see all these sights and just be in a completely new place, especially someone who hadn't really traveled much before.
Yeah. But yeah, so we explored Meiji Jingu, and then, look, I don't remember exactly what we did day to day, but we spent the first, 3 to 4 days in Tokyo, and then we moved on to Osaka. Was it Osaka next? And because for reference as well, this was a 2-week trip, which we don't really do trips that long now to Japan because we've been so many times. We try and keep them a little bit shorter.
Yes,
but I would recommend giving yourself 2, even 3 weeks in Japan, especially if you can
only make it there once. Like if you're a more infrequent traveler, definitely that time so you can appreciate everything and like that. But
we're extremely fortunate to be able to visit Japan quite frequently.
And for us personally, we also know too that like the difference in the amount of damage we can do to our body and fitness levels from 1 week to 2 weeks is astronomical.
It's a big difference.
So just a week is like, yeah, you can get a little bit out of shape, but you get that back pretty quick. 2 weeks, oh man.
Yeah,
we can.
We're in sumo wrestler territory by that point.
But not as athletic as a sumo wrestler. The sumo wrestler diet without the training.
Yeah, just the look. So yeah, this was a 2-week trip. So we spent some time in Tokyo. We did a lot of the sort of typical touristy things, just getting a good feel for the place. And we absolutely love Tokyo, and we've spent a lot of time there.
Good advice for your first trip is like, you don't really have to be so stressful and strenuous with all the planning and I got to see this and that. Like, just being in a new place for the first time is amazing enough already. So don't stress yourself out with having like some jam-packed itinerary and all this kind of stuff. Just go there, walk around, and you're going to see and experience so many amazing things. And that's the kind of approach we try and take now if it's a new place we're visiting. Obviously, if it's somewhere we've been to before and we already know it well, we might delve a little bit further into, okay, this time I really want to make sure I see this, this, and this because we've seen like the general picture. But I always think if it's your first time going somewhere, just go there and just walk around and
plan less.
Just experience it.
I think it's good to have a few things, like whether it's activities that you're booking in or things that require booking a ticket. Like obviously you might want to book ahead or book a couple days before getting there. But I agree with you. I think that's something that Hugh's gotten a lot better at on our most recent Japan trip, which we'll eventually get to. We've got a few trips to get through, but we planned a lot less on our most recent trip. And you sort of said it was probably one of the most fun trips 100%. Because we didn't plan it to the T. And I think like I'm definitely like to be a bit more spontaneous when it comes to things like that. And I think Hugh sort of dipped into that sort of spontaneity a little bit this trip, and I was really happy.
Dipping my toes in the spontaneity pool.
I was really happy to see him do that and let go of a bit of that control. Yeah. And you said a couple times the most fun you had was when we were doing something that wasn't planned, or it was like, oh, look at that cool thing. Should we go check that out? And but anyway, coming back to this trip, so we made our way to Osaka, and this was the first time we got to experience the famous bullet trains.
So yeah, we made our way from Tokyo to Osaka and we got to experience the world famous bullet train, but not really in the way that I think it's meant to be used.
So we didn't realize that when you book your bullet train, there's actually options. There's like a local option and then there's a more fast track option. I forget the correct terminology.
Yeah, I think they do express.
Express, yes.
And there's like limited express and then there's local. So generally if you're going a long distance, you want the express one that goes pretty much straight from Tokyo to Osaka.
A to B.
We jumped on the local. And on the local, if anything about local train stops at every single station between your destination and the destination.
Tokyo all the way to Osaka, which is a very long distance.
I think there was about like 16 or 17 different stops.
Yeah, and at first we didn't really pick up on it because we're like, oh yeah, they're just making a stop. But then it kept stopping and we're like, isn't this meant to be the bullet train? Like, this seems to be taking a very long time.
I was looking at my watch and I'm like, we've been on this thing for like 4 hours, bro.
No, literally. And it was kind of nice because I don't know if it took us on a different route, but we were seeing some beautiful sights. We actually got one of the best views of Mount Fuji that we've ever seen in our whole time in Japan out the train window. There's actually, you have to sit on the right-hand side
so if you're traveling
to see
from
Mount
Tokyo
Fuji
to Osaka, you want to sit on the right-hand side of the train and you'll be able to see Mount Fuji if he's come out to play for the day. Old Fuji-san is a little bit of a
very weather dependent.
A little bit of a shy mountain. Likes to keep itself concealed.
I think in winter it's better because there's less cloud cover typically in winter. So if you're there in winter and you happen to get on the bullet train, or if you're going to see Fuji, you'll probably get to see it. Hopefully, I cross my fingers for you.
First thing in the morning or last thing in the day is normally when there's the least amount of cloud cover as well.
So anyway, we keep stopping and we're like, okay, I think we've made a mistake here. And look, we got to Osaka eventually. It just took much longer than we expected. And Yeah, we got to Osaka, and oh my gosh, I think Osaka is probably up there with one of our favorite cities in the whole world. It is.
Well, they call it the kitchen of Japan, so I
So
think
you
just
can see
right
why.
there, you can see why it's appealing to the both of us. But
Osaka just has this. So to compare Tokyo and Osaka, I would say Tokyo is amazing, but it's very much like a rat race, and
Yes.
people are very head down.
I've got a good comparison for our Australian listeners anyway. I would say it's like comparing Sydney to Melbourne. So Sydney is very much Tokyo.
Yeah, okay.
Melbourne is very much Osaka.
That's actually a really good comparison because Melbourne,
Without-
like Osaka, has like a real cultural artsy feel, which I would say Osaka has this like grunginess to it.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's and
a lot
so
more. A lot people are a lot more relaxed too. A lot more willing to chat. Tokyo is
Yes.
very much business orientated. Everyone's just trying to get to and from work. That kind of
Oh,
thing.
and look, there's areas in Tokyo where you can find some more relaxed people and spots, but I would say overall Tokyo is very much a rat race.
Yes, Tokyo, Yoyogi Park. If you want to go somewhere where everyone's chill
yes.
and just a beautiful place to hang out, Yoyogi Park. That's a
Yeah,
great
so
one.
where we mentioned before,
The Meiji Jingu.
Meiji
If you
Jingu,
walk through that, it will come out pretty much near Yoyogi
they
Park.
kind of are actually bordering each other, aren't they? And so, yeah, Yoyogi, so it's spelled Yoyogi. Did I say too many O's? But it is...
Y-O-Y-O-G-I.
Sorry, we digress. So yeah, we'd highly recommend visiting Yoyogi Park. I think you mentioned there's a beautiful dog park in the center of it. So we normally go and check out the doggies, and it's so funny because like if you live in Tokyo and you have the privilege of owning, not only living in Tokyo but also owning a dog, you are doing very well for yourself because it's very, very expensive to live in Tokyo and own a pet.
Chances are, if you own a dog in Tokyo, you also have a Ferrari.
Yes. I remember one time we were being so nosy. There was this man who had, I can't remember what breed of dog he had, but it was beautiful. It might have been a Shiba Inu, which is like a beautiful Japanese
Classical
dog.
Japanese dog.
And we were kind of leaving the park as he was leaving, but we kind of like unintentionally were following him because we were like, oh, I wonder what like car he drives. And like we were kind of like, wonder where he's going. And this sounds really creepy, but we were just intrigued and we were kind of walking the same. I don't know if you remember this. We didn't work out what car he owns, but I was like, I'm just so intrigued to know like how, like what do you do for work? Like I wonder how you
what
have
are the lives of these people because it's so expensive. Like land in Tokyo, I think is the most expensive in the world.
So expensive.
Oh yeah, I should look up that fun fact. Actually, I think
we can insert it.
I will right now. Actually,
okay. You do that.
You keep talking.
I'll keep talking. So anyway, we get to Osaka and we did a few of the typical touristy things. So highly recommend visiting Dotonbori. You will know Dotonbori. If you don't know the name, you would have seen it before. It is the classic, they've got the sign, the Gilko sign or Glico sign, and it's the man running and his arms are up like this. Famous sign. Dotonbori River goes through this area where there's lots of street food, there's restaurants, there's entertainment, pretty much just the heart of Osaka, and it's very well known. So I would recommend, you can go there in the day, but I would highly recommend going in the evening because it really comes to life. Or even better, go around that twilight time, depending on what time of year you're there, and watch the lights come on. Oh my goodness, it is like magic because it's just neon lights for as far as the eye can see, and then they reflect on the river, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Did you find the
back to the facts? So I'll just ask you what you think. But so Ginza is the most expensive suburb,
which we actually just stayed in like 3 weeks ago.
How much do you think it costs per square meter? So just land per square meter.
Land per square meter.
And just in case you've forgotten, a square meter is just like...
Yeah, I was like, how big is that?
A little bit bigger than the table.
So we're talking how many dollars is 1 square meter worth?
Yeah, is just one like table's worth of land.
Oh my gosh. Is it like $10,000? How much?
$500,000.
For that table?
Per square meter.
Okay. So if anyone lives in Ginza, contact us.
Yeah.
We want to be your friend.
But that's the example of like if you have a house like some of these people must have like houses with like backyards and stuff like that because some of these people have really big dogs.
We saw a Doberman in Yoyogi Park.
So when your land costs $500,000 per square meter,
That is insane. So anyway, back to that. Thanks for that fact. That was very interesting. Cool. Back to Osaka. So Dotonbori, we also went to, oh my gosh, probably one of our absolute favorite things to do in all of Japan. Can you guess what I'm about to say?
Eat food.
Number one. But attraction-wise, well, there's actually two great attractions in Osaka. There is the zoo and there is the aquarium. Yeah. Both of these places, I'll talk about the aquarium first. The Osaka Aquarium, look, we haven't been to every aquarium in the world. However, of the ones that we have been to, this is the very best. They have 2 whale sharks.
Yeah. So they have just the layout of it is really cool. So you get there and you go like up big escalators to get to the very top. And then it's almost like you just spiral around and around, and like the deeper you go, they have like different levels with different tanks, and like you may see some penguins or fish on this level, and then you get to the next level and you can see them deeper down, but then with other animals as well in other enclosures. So it's all like an interconnected, almost like hive of animal, and the further deeper down you go, you're still seeing ones from up above, but you get to see what they're like on land up there. Like you'll see some seals playing around up there, and the deeper down you get, you'll see what they look like when they're swimming down around, and you'll see other kinds of animals.
It's absolutely amazing. And have we been twice to the aquarium at least?
Maybe even 3.
Like to return to an aquarium, which arguably is like a one-time thing. You might go back again one day, but we love it.
Just for comparison's sake, like we went to the aquarium in Sydney, and
it was disappointing.
Come on,
in comparison,
Australia, like for
we actually find it really hard. It's like a toxic trait, but we find it really hard not to compare everything to Japan because we're just such Japan advocates. But so the aquarium, highly recommend. Also the zoo, which I think is called Tennoji Zoo. We have been to the Osaka Zoo, I think 3 times at least, and it is amazing. It's we actually had the most amazing experience. I can't remember what time, if it was this trip or another, but
it was the first.
Was it the first trip? There was the polar bears. So there was a polar bear enclosure, and there was this one polar bear, and he showed up for work that day. Like he was playing.
He was getting paid.
He must have been getting some good fish that day because he was so playful. I've never seen an animal in a zoo.
Like backflips. Like he had like this little bucket he was playing with.
He had a ball.
He was dunking it underwater. Like
I think I've got video footage. Maybe I'll insert it. I've never seen an animal so happy in captivity because like obviously it's a bit sad that they're in captivity, but this polar bear was living its best life.
Same with this hippo. The hippo that was there was really having a great time too.
Yeah, so the zoo and the aquarium, highly recommend. Is there anything else in Osaka that you would recommend?
No, that was just, as we talked about Dotonbori before, is definitely the main place to go. We haven't talked about where we stayed in Osaka.
Where did we stay?
The Royal Park Hotel.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
When I booked, I didn't even realize I'd booked like a fancy suite, but it was a good suite. But the other thing I didn't realize is that it gave us access to the breakfast buffet. And I think it was definitely set up for Japanese people. Mm-hmm. I don't think they had many Westerners staying there at the time, or maybe just not many Western people book in there, but we're as Western as they come when it comes to food. So we come rocking up there, obviously, and we're early risers. So the buffet opens at like 7 a.m. We're there at like 6:58. Like,
we're banging on the door,
waiting for them to open up. So we come in and they seat us down and everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a buffet there." We literally went up there, and I reckon just our first round, we pretty much like cleaned it out. Like there was this bread box, pastry box, all this kind of stuff. We just cleaned this thing out, sat down, just started going at it. And it was so funny looking over. One of the attendants just calmly like walks out, comes to check to make sure everything's sweet. And he's just like looks at what's left of the buffet. And he was just like, he races back out to the back kitchen and he's like...
He specifically looked at the bread box, which we emptied. This bread box was like yay big, full of different types of little bread rolls and buns. We emptied it. This is probably for like a day's worth of food between Hugh and I. Within about 10 minutes, we emptied it. And when he got to that bread box, there was like pure shock on his face. And we were looking and we were like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like,
It's a reoccurring theme when buffets, especially in Asian countries, is like we'll do like a plate's load and then we'll sit down and we'll eat it. And like normally someone will come over and be like, oh, do you want me to take your plate? And we'll be like, nah. No, you don't no. I'm going to be going back up there.
That was round one of at least 4. So that was really funny. Yeah, the Royal Park Hotel, I think it's a chain, would highly recommend. If you can spend a little bit extra cash, would definitely recommend staying in one of those. That's, I think, something worth mentioning. With Japan, their rating system is very... Would you say humble? Is that the right word? Like, so
so they're a bit reserved in what kind of score they'll give out. Like, like 3 stars is like, it was really good.
3 stars is almost like a 4 to 5 star equivalent in Australia.
4 stars is like it was one of the best places I've ever stayed, and 5 stars it just doesn't happen. Like no one in Japan will ever give anything 5 stars unless like they literally had like an out of body spiritual enlightening experience at the place.
It's actually we'll get to this because we're coming up to this part of the trip, but we went skiing on this trip, and I would say the same thing applies for the ski run rating system. So if you have ever skied or snowboarded, you've got your green, is it blue in Japan?
Yeah. So
red, sorry.
They don't have red in Japan.
No, it is red.
No, they don't have red in Japan. They have red here. They just have green, blue, or do they?
No, I'm sure it's red because when we get up to this part of the story, anyway, we'll circle back. But it's similar with they hold back, and we actually looked into this because they don't want to scare people away from coming to the ski resorts, but they actually, what would be an intermediate run in maybe Australia, they would rate it like lower because they want to encourage more people to come. But some of their ski runs are no joke.
Maybe it's just because they're not weak dogs. Like
it's also probably that they're like, please,
it's
like
easy as.
So we'll come up to that. So should we move on to maybe Kyoto next? Do you want to talk about Kyoto?
So Kyoto is an interesting one. I would say if you're going to Japan, not necessarily a place that you have to book accommodation for. Because it's so close to Osaka, you could easily just book a few more days in Osaka and do a day trip or 2-day trips out to Kyoto, because it's literally only like a half-hour train ride. And it's obviously Osaka is cheaper to stay, more room, you're going to get a better hotel.
Not as touristy.
Kyoto is very busy, plus you're going to pay more because Kyoto actually has a tourist tax. So if you book in Osaka, you don't pay that. But if you book in Kyoto, you'll pay the fee online. And then when you get to Kyoto to check in, they'll make you pay more money as part of their tourism tax kind of thing. And it's just hard to get around, way too many people. So if it was me, I would just book. If you want to go to Kyoto as well, just book a few more days in Osaka and have that as your home base, and then just travel out to Kyoto for day trips. But beautiful city.
It's beautiful. We got extremely, extremely lucky. This trip that we went on was pretty much as soon as they opened the borders and tourism for Japan, which was one of the last places to open during COVID, we were there in a heartbeat because we've been talking about going, and we were so lucky. And I like really count our blessings.
Yeah, lucky. But it was not planned. Because when I booked it all, I didn't even look into it. I didn't know the borders were still shut and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
That's why I got everything so cheap. I remember looking at it all. I'm like, man, this is so cheap. Why is this all so cheap?
Oh, so we actually just got lucky.
We just got lucky that the borders opened. Literally, that all opened up like a month before we got there. Because it wasn't until a few months after I booked everything that I looked at like what their border situation was, and I was like, oh wow, we can't go there.
I've actually forgotten about this.
I was like, man, I hope that changes.
Oh, no wonder we got it so cheap.
And that's why there was no one there, because it literally only just opened up.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We got to go to some of the most well-known spots in Japan. So your Fushimi Inari, which we'll touch on soon, Meiji Jingu, some of these like big Dotonbori in Osaka, and we got to experience them very quiet, almost desolate,
So nice.
especially in the mornings.
So,
and I'm so grateful that we got to experience that, because I don't know if you've seen, but Kyoto now, I almost wouldn't personally go, or
I
I'd go
agree.
very early in the morning.
Yeah, you got to go
because
early. But yeah, that's when anyone ever says don't go to Kyoto, it's nothing on Kyoto itself, because it's probably one of the most beautiful cities in Japan, has some of the most amazing traditional like shrines and markets, and it is definitely
worth seeing.
worth seeing. However, it's also definitely the busiest. Like Japan itself is a busy place, but we went to the last time we went to Kyoto, it was literally like
It wasn't as enjoyable,
you couldn't even
unfortunately.
move. Like we had to find little side passages and dirt tracks and all this kind of stuff just to get to the places that we wanted to see.
I would recommend going to Kyoto during the week. I wouldn't go on the weekend if
No.
you can avoid it. But yeah, so when we were in Kyoto, do you want to talk about what we did there, some of the activities? And
Yeah, so we actually stayed there the first time around because we weren't aware much about like how close it was to Osaka or anything. So we stayed in the middle of Kyoto, and we had Fushimi Inari, which was like I don't know, like what would you call that?
hike?
Like a mini Fuji.
yeah.
Maybe like a quarter the size of Fuji, a lot more accessible. It's got like all the big, you would have seen it, all the big red
Torii
like
gates.
the
Like
big red
this
Torii
guy in the
gates.
middle.
There's like hundreds, if not thousands, of them.
so many.
going all the way up the mountain, and it's a really nice walk.
It's almost quite spiritual, isn't it? Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of, I don't know the full history of it, but I think there's a belief that it's like a spiritual sacred ground. And do you know more about that than
Yeah,
me?
so Fushimi Inari is the god of rice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, and obviously rice is a big thing in Japan, so it's one of their more important shrines.
We like
but,
rice.
Man, we do like rice and all the things that go with it. But it's amazing. You walk up it, and it's very peaceful, very beautiful. We have photos from it.
Yeah, we'll insert some into
And
the
another
episode.
really cool thing about it is that there's numerous ways you can go up the mountain. So there's like, you could go this way, or there's a path that goes this way, or there's one that kind of goes around this way. So it's almost like a Goosebumps, choose your own adventure kind of style. But we had that one, which was amazing. That's also one I would recommend for the morning. And then there's also, do you know what?
Bamboo forest.
Yeah, so that's a train ride. You're not going to be able to walk that one from Kyoto. But
You can try.
maybe, or I should say, let's get our pronunciations right. Kyoto. Kyoto. So if you're saying in Kyoto, you will want to get a train from Kyoto out to I think it's
Arashiyama. Come on, Mr. Pronunciation.
Arashiyama bamboo foresto.
If you just said "oh" to everything,
And
it
it's
sounds more Japanese.
not even racist, because it is 100% true.
No, it's actually what they say when you're trying to
So
learn
they
Japanese.
have the original root word in Japanese, which will be the Japanese word, but a lot of the time they don't even use that. They just have their own Japanese style of saying English words, and if you say it that way, they know exactly what you're talking about. Just an example, I love broccoli, but they don't say broccoli, they say broccoli. So it sounds like I'm being racist, like I'm being like, oh, broccoli. I'm sure a Japanese person would say broccoli, but that is literally, if you type in broccoli in Japanese, it's broccoli.
Yep.
So a lot of the time, if you don't know what something is, if you just say like if you don't know how to say coffee, and you were just like, oh, coffee, that is how you say
That's
coffee.
how you say it.
That is exactly how you say coffee.
Yeah.
And there are so many words that are like that. Where's the elevator? It's not elevator, it's elevator.
We're giving you a little Japanese language lesson
so
here.
It's not being racist. Just put on a little bit of a Japanese accent, and chances are they're probably going to know what you're saying. So anyway, enough about Japanese pronunciation. We're Bamboo Forest, amazing. Like, again, get there early to avoid the crowds. Beautiful place. When we actually went there, it's very rare for it to snow in the major cities, but it was actually snowing a little bit there.
Forgot that it snowed.
Which was really cool. And we went up they have like a monkey mountain. So like this mountain where the monkeys all naturally kind of come together, and they all hang out and they get fed there and everything, which is really funny. I can see Liz laughing over there, but like you're climbing a mountain, and it's almost like ominous. There's every few hundred meters there's a sign with like a different fact about the monkeys, and then we like don't run near the monkeys. monkeys, and then the next sign will be like, don't look the monkeys directly in the eye, and then you're coming further up and you're like, are these like some kind of demon gangster monkeys? We're going to get up here and they're just going to swarm us. And
I was getting a bit
beat
scared.
us down, but literally at first you get up there, they're all hanging out, you're looking around at them, and then one looks at you and you look at it and you're like, look away. And I was like,
Avert eye gaze somewhere else.
Liz, it just looked at me and we made eye contact. Is it coming?
It's giving like Planet of the Apes, like when the monkeys start attacking. It was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? But
no, they're
pretty harmless.
They were super chill. I think it was more just like, don't try and staunch the monkeys would have been a more Australian appropriate song.
Yes.
You can look at them. Just don't try and start them.
But yeah, so both these, the bamboo forest and the monkey park are in the same area called Arashiyama. So after Kyoto, sorry, how do I pronounce that?
Kyoto.
We made, so that was like week 1 of the trip. Week 2 was the skiing part of the trip. And this could almost be a whole episode in itself, but we'll skim through some of the details.
Train at Nagano way to a place called Hakuba.
Hakuba is probably, you might know it. It's one of the most famous skiing resorts, mountains in Japan, full of Australians. Yes. Full of them. You pretty much have just gone to Australia when you go there.
A lot of locals have nicknamed it Hakubali.
Hakubali.
Because there's that many Aussies there. It's kind of become a little bit...
It was actually a bit jarring because we'd been in Japan for a week and we hadn't come across too many tourists because, as we've said, it was like still COVID times.
And then we get to
Hakuba and we hear Australian accents and I was almost offended. I was like, ew, even though we're Australian. I was like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Like, so bad.
You're ruining my Oriental experience.
Yeah, even though we're here being tourists, I'm like, what are you doing here? But Hakuba is absolutely, we have been to Hakuba 3 times, I think. We've
at least 3.
At least 3 times. It's one of our favorite places to ski in the whole world. We haven't skied everywhere in the world, but so far.
So it's just massive. So that there's like 8 or 9, I think, different.
I think there's 10
ski resorts, and they're all connected by a bus that just goes around.
Shuttle buses, yeah.
Shuttle bus goes around all day. Really easy to get between them. And the first place we stayed at was Tsugaike, and that was really awesome. But like again, that whole Japanese hospitality, like we got there and we checked in and they were like so accommodating, and even I remember like because we stayed at another accommodation as well, when we checked out and like we were going to stay at another accommodation, the guy was fully like, he was like, no, like the guy who owned the whole hotel, he was like, no, you have to let me take you. I will take you to your next accommodation.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, if you want to. And he's taking us there and he's like, surely you guys need groceries. Let me take you to the grocery store.
He was so accommodating.
And we can buy groceries and then I can drop you off at your accommodation.
Yeah, we're like, oh, you don't have
like,
to.
No, it's fine, dude. Like, just you taking us there is awesome. So that was great too.
So there's Tsugaike mountain or resort, I suppose
the only drawback of it, it's quite like remote. So
yes,
you can always catch the bus into Happo, which is like the main district.
Which is where we went next.
But like when you've had a big day of skiing, you don't really feel like having to try and mess around with the buses, especially because they can get quite packed, especially at the end of the day. Everyone's trying to get back to their accommodations and stuff. So a main advantage if you are going to Hakuba, it does make it a lot easier if you do stay in Happo, because in Happo they have that's where the convenience stores are. They have a supermarket there.
It's the hub of
Hakuba for sure.
And its correct name actually, Hugh, is Happo-One.
I believe the ski slopes are called Happo-One.
Is it not?
I thought the little suburb was Happo.
Oh, I thought. Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe you're right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Here's me trying to correct you.
But this is also an Australian podcast, so we never say the whole name of things.
We would say Happo-One.
We abbreviate everything.
So everyone calls it Happo-One because it's spelled O-N-E, but it's actually One. And we didn't learn this until like trip 2. But
happy.
So we went to our next accommodation, which was the Rosenheim Hotel, which we ended up being at for the majority of our trip.
Beautiful hotel.
Do we want to talk about the buffet?
And I say that because of the buffet. It was literally the best breakfast buffet I've ever experienced.
Amazing.
You go down there and it was just like massive plates of like traditional Japanese food. They had Chinese food. They had Western food. They had all different types of buns and pastries and croissants and bread rolls and like literally that was literally the trip we came back from with I think probably the highest body fat percentage I've been in several years.
Yeah, we did some damage
Just because
on that trip.
We normally keep things pretty light the first part of the day, but when you're smashing like 2,000-3,000 calories for breakfast,
I would hate to know.
The sky is the limit.
I would hate to know our total calorie count each day on that trip because we did not hold back. We're a lot more. I say we're a lot more restrained now. Like, don't get me wrong, we do some damage, but I feel like we've behaved a bit better on more recent trips when it comes to food. But that first trip to Japan, we did not hold back at all.
And I think it's good to have that sometimes. Sometimes you have a trip.
Oh God, yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Just no holds bar, but yeah.
But yeah, so we skied. So this was our first time skiing in Hakuba. We tried out a few of the resorts. So Tsugaike would highly recommend for beginners and more advanced. You've got a bit of everything there. Happo-One, look, as a beginner skier at this point, I would say
it can be a little bit intimidating.
It was pretty scary.
I'm not going to lie. There's not really any beginner sections for Happo-One.
No, it was scary.
Once you get a bit better, it is.
I love it now because I'm a lot more confident with skiing, but back then I was not. So I would say work up to that one.
It has like a little ski snowboard like park as well.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the bigger ones, so it is fun because you can kind of spread yourself out over the whole mountain.
Oh, you could easily spend a whole day at just Happo. Yeah. We also, did we try Iwatake out on this trip? I think we might have.
So Iwatake is really fun too.
Again, maybe not a beginner friendly one though, but it is really worth seeing. And then we went to, did we try any others or was it just the 3 on that trip?
Might have just been the 3 for that trip.
Yeah, so there's 10 resorts and as we said, you can just catch a shuttle bus to all of them. But I think on this trip, we just did the 3 because as I might have just mentioned, Hugh at this point is, I would say, like an intermediate level skier because you hadn't skied for years.
No, not for about.
But it's one of
15
those.
years.
Hugh's very confident, and it's also like a muscle memory thing. So I think once you pick it up, like riding a bike, you're like, oh, I know how to ski. I was very much a beginner at this stage, and
she did very well though.
Oh my god!
And Liz is a prime example, and for anyone else going, mind over matter. So it's not necessarily your body or your lack of skill that's going to hold you back. It's your mentality. So she actually started off doing really well, but then she had one kind of bad experience and it really set her back for a long time. And like, obviously you don't get worse with time, but it made her worse simply because her confidence took a hit. But as soon as she got her confidence back, she was skiing amazingly. So for anyone who's going there in the future, just start slow.
Yes.
Because the worst thing you can do is try and take on more than you're ready for, because then it has a big hit to your confidence.
Yes.
But if you just start slow and slowly progress to harder and harder slopes, you will do really well. Because it's when you go stiff and rigid, that's when
it's worse.
That's when it's really bad. You kind of need to flow. Yeah. You need to go
be zen
with the mountain, not against the mountain.
I can't tell you how many times Hugh says to me, don't resist the mountain, go with the mountain. But it's so true. You need to just go with it, and speed is your friend. Yeah. That's something else you always tell me.
The faster you go, the more traction you have, the more everything digs in. So if you
like with driving as well,
if you're going really slow the whole time and you're going like this and you don't want to do your turn, that's when you're falling over.
Yeah. So Hugh was extremely patient with me and he was teaching me, but I would recommend if you're not skiing with someone or snowboarding who has as much experience as Hugh had, I would really invest in getting at least one lesson because I think it would help at least with your confidence. But yeah, I remember there was this one specific hill and you'll know which one.
I know.
And it's a red run, so intermediate level. And this was where I really scared myself and it really shook my confidence for like 2 days, I would say.
So we'd just been doing greens up until this point and I saw that she was doing really well. So I was like, yeah, come up, we'll do this red one because I thought she could definitely handle it. And I feel like she could have handled it, but I think she kind of psyched herself out because
it was more mental.
She looked at it and she was like, oh, this is steeper than what I'm used to. So instead of just going at it like she had the other one, she was really slow from the start and shaky and not confident on her turns. And it just, I
think I had a big fall.
Yeah.
I think I had a big fall and it really scared me and it shook me up. But I can confidently and happily say now that this particular run, I almost feel like I've had a spiritual experience on this specific red run because on more recent trips, I zoom down this run and I look at it now, I'm like, that's easy.
Yeah, it's almost like you go there just to like
Warm up.
show it to who's boss kind of thing.
Yeah.
We go there and you just smash out. It's like, yeah, I remember when you used to intimidate me. Not anymore. I've shred on you.
Yeah,
Doing
like
this
face
big
my
turn and
fears.
just, like-
And so I can, to give anyone hope who maybe was in my position of being a very nervous skier, you can get better. And I experienced firsthand that it was not anything physical. Like, yes, be more relaxed. Don't grip your feet too tight. That's something that I do. But it's all in your head. It's a mental game. If you tell yourself, I can get down this mountain, I can do it confidently, then you will. And I experienced that firsthand. I would say a little bit on this trip, but more so the next time we came to Hakuba and on other ski trips, because we've done some in other countries as well. My confidence went like skyrocketed and my skiing went with the confidence.
Having faith in yourself and committing to something just makes it just happens. Like when you just go, yes, I can do this, and you go for
Self-belief.
it just happens. And then it's like a reciprocal thing. So your internal is good, which reflects into your external becoming better. And then because you see your external better, it then further enhances your internal and you just get better and better and better and better.
It's that whole thing of like your mentality creates your reality. And I experienced that firsthand. And when I say it's like a spiritual experience for me, that particular red run, when I did come back to it the following year and I was able to zoom down it with confidence, I think you actually got a bit teary, didn't you? And you were like, I'm so proud of you, because it really, it was like, yes, your skiing ability has improved, but this improved more. I'm pointing to my head if you're not watching the video.
Because you spend every day with someone like we were at that time in our relationship. And yes, obviously we change all the time, but when you spend every day with someone, you don't necessarily notice those changes as much as, say, somebody else would. But then to come back to something where you were like, oh, yes, I saw my partner really struggled with this last time we were there, and to see them just like blitz through it like it was nothing, it's like, wow, this really does solidify for me like how much more confidence and like how much she has developed in the last year kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's why maybe we have such a beautiful connection with Japan as well, because we have both changed so much since the very first trip we've been to Japan, this trip we're talking about, to our more recent one. Gosh, haven't we changed so much? And I think it's so beautiful that every time we go back to Japan, we're almost like slightly more improved versions of ourselves, and we get to go to Japan and then experience it, because like traveling, whilst like you're having fun, if your headspace is not right when you're traveling, it can really impact your trip.
So this is the saying I love, is wherever you go, there you are. So if you go on holidays thinking that somehow this is going to turn you into a relaxed, amazing person who's going to have an amazing time, you got another thing coming. If you are stressed out, like angry, upset, depressed, whatever person here, you're going to take that with you wherever you go. So as much as going on holidays can be like a very like enlightening, like spiritual and developmental experience for you, don't think that it's going to be a cure-all or that it's going to fix everything. Like make sure that you within yourself know that like I need to make sure I'm stable in myself here, and then that's going to be reflective in me with whatever I do, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very important.
And that's what we realized too. So that might be something we cover in future episodes. But there were a lot of negative things that came with us on our trip. So as much fun as we did have, obviously, if you have all these negative or these kind of like frustrating traits and stuff at home, yeah, sure, the initial novelty of a holiday may subdue those, but after a few days, all those things start to come back up. And that's why I think our trips have gotten so much better, not because we've gone to better places or that we have found better ways to navigate these places, but because our internal has changed so much. So because we're so much more at peace and in a better place within ourselves mentally, that is where all our holidays now are so much more enjoyable because we're able to enjoy them without all the mental chatter that we previously had on previous trips. So not necessarily that the trip itself is any easier or that it's any more magical or that we go to any more crazy places, but the people we are on these trips have elevated so much that within itself is what makes the traveling so much more enjoyable.
Definitely. And I think, like you said, if there's issues in your relationship or for you as an individual that you're not addressing and then you go on a holiday, it almost puts a spotlight on those things.
I'll come with you.
And maybe it's a good opportunity for you to address those things. You wouldn't want to do that on a holiday, but maybe it's going to be a blessing for you. And I think we've definitely experienced that on some of these trips where some things have come up. I think skiing especially put a spotlight on at the time I didn't have much self-confidence, not nearly as much as I have now. And so I think when I talk about skiing being a spiritual experience, it really is for me because it's helped me identify that I was struggling with some self-confidence issues, and it gave me some very harsh practice at trying to improve those things.
And it can be beneficial for both too, because I found for myself as well, it really helped me develop more my empathetic side of things and my nurturing side of things with myself and patience and all that kind of stuff.
Extremely patient.
Because when you oftentimes in a relationship, like you may take your partner for granted, like if they're doing well, you're like they're doing their own thing, whatever. But in times where you really see your partner struggling, especially mentally in that way, I think it really can help bring out something in yourself in terms of like your nurturing and caring aspect, and you really develop that more within yourself, so it can be beneficial for both people.
So that's pretty much our trip, our first ever trip to Japan, which was the most beautiful experience. And I'm not sure when we'll get up to it. It might be next episode, it might be 2 episodes away, but we'll talk about our next Japan trip, which was only 3 months later because we got the bug. We got the travel bug and the Japan-specific one, and we literally came back and we were like, when are we going back? And we literally booked a trip 3 months later, and people couldn't believe that we were already back in Japan. People thought we were resharing photos from our past trip. We're like, no, we're back.
We're back.
And we haven't stopped going back since. So that's pretty much trip 1. We'll insert some photos throughout so you guys can see what we're talking about. But thank you for listening. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
And not sure when this is going to come out, but
next Sunday.
If it hasn't already, in terms of other stuff we do have vlogs coming from our last Japan trip.
Yes.
So keep an eyes peeled for those as well.
Yeah, on the Zen Den Studios YouTube, which we can tag actually in the show notes. Cool. But thank you so much for joining us again, guys. This is episode 2. We're going to aim to release every Sunday morning an episode. So join us every Sunday, get a little coffee in hand or cup of tea, whatever your beverage of choice is. I would hope that on a Sunday morning it's not alcoholic, but if that is, that's absolutely fine.
Sometimes you gotta live a little.
But thank you so much for joining us. And how do we end our podcast?
Bye.